message arrived at 11:47 p.m. It was a simple, yet devastating request. Please don't come to the wedding. He'll be walking me down the aisle. I stared at the screen, the glow illuminating the dark kitchen. No, Dad. No, I'm sorry. Just a cold demand. I read the words again, as if their meaning might change, but they didn't. They stayed sharp, each one cutting deeper than the last. My daughter, my only child, one I had raised alone after her mother left, for a new family had just discarded me. I had seen her through fevers, birthdays, scraped knees, and graduations, and now she was replacing me with a man who had a swimming pool and the audacity to call himself her stepfather. My thumb hovered over the reply button. I didn't send a response. The silence was more than enough, but deep inside, something shifted. It wasn't rage or grief. It was something colder, a sense of clarity that plans. I remembered the day she told me she was moving in with them. She was 23, a suitcase by the door, her eyes already looking past me. They just have more to offer, she'd said. A bigger house, a pool. I had laughed, a quiet, bitter laugh. 22 years of sacrifice, weighed against chlorinated water. Her mother was waiting outside in the car, sunglasses on, her husband's hand on the steering wheel. I stood in the doorway, watching my daughter walk toward them. Every step felt like an eraser, every memory of our life together rewritten, replaced. The final blow came weeks later when she stood in my living room and, with a steady, rehearsed voice, said, "I've changed my last name. I was ashamed of yours." Ashamed. She didn't know it, but those words weren't just a rejection. They were a profound act of betrayal. She thought I would simply fade away, burdened by the shame she left me with. But names have power, and in that moment, she had just given me all of mine back. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I started small, quietly. I searched public records. Her stepfather's name appeared in places it shouldn't have. Shady business ventures, pending lawsuits, and buried financial filings. I traced the patterns and connections. He was not the man he pretended to be. Her mother's social media accounts were filled with images of vacations and gifts. But behind the polished smiles, I saw desperation. Everything was too staged, too perfect. I dug deeper, looking at credit reports, property deeds, and debt. The house she adored was mortgaged beyond saving. The pool she loved was cracked, the repairs unpaid. My daughter, wrapped in this illusion, had traded 22 years of truth for borrowed water. I didn't tell her. I let her enjoy the dream while I assembled the reality, piece by piece, until the full picture was clear. The call came 3 weeks before the wedding. Her voice was trembling. "Dad," she said, "they want you to contribute to the wedding fund. Just a little." I said nothing at first, listening to the silence behind her words, the kind of silence that hides fear. I already knew the truth, but I wanted to hear it in her tone, the desperation and the crack in her perfect world. Finally, I spoke. "Ask him." The line went dead. 2 days later, I mailed her a package. No note, no explanation. Inside were copies of public records, debt statements, and foreclosure notices, everything laid bare. She would know then that the man she replaced me with wasn't a provider. It was a fraud. Her betrayal was not punished by me, but by her own choice. The night before the wedding, I went to the church. I didn't go inside. I stood at the edge of the parking lot, watching the rehearsal through the tall stained glass windows. I saw him, the stepfather, adjusting his tie and laughing too loudly. And I saw her, my daughter, in her white dress with a nervous smile. She saw me through the glass. Her face froze in shock and fear. She rushed outside, nearly tripping on the steps. "Why are you here?" she asked, her voice tight. I looked at her calmly. "You made your choice." I didn't raise my voice or accuse her. I didn't plead. I simply handed her the final envelope. Inside were legal documents, evidence of lawsuits filed against him that very morning. Complaints were signed and verified. Her stepfather would be served before he could walk her down the aisle. Her perfect day was shattering before it even began. I turned to leave. She called after me, her voice breaking. "Dad, please." But I didn't stop. The wedding went on, I heard, but not as planned. He never walked her down the aisle. He was escorted out by men in suits, papers in hand. Her mother wept in the pews, her mascara running like ink on wet paper. I wasn't there to see it. I didn't need to be. My daughter had made her choice when she shed my name. She thought she was discarding me, but what she was really discarding was her protection. For 22 years, I had been both her shield and her shelter. She traded it for an illusion, and now she knew the cost. I felt no pity or rage. I felt nothing at all, just a piercing clarity. Her greatest mistake wasn't leaving me. It was forgetting that I never begged her to stay. And as I walked away from the church that night, I knew she hadn't erased me. She had erased herself.